Don't go away. Next on Doggy Dilemmas, Kipper, the 18-month-old Labradoodle who nips you in the butt.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Hi, I'm Denise Mazzola. Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. Today we're visiting Kipper, who is an 18-month-old Labradoodle and has some pretty interesting behavior issues. So let's meet Jennifer and find out how we can help her today. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
So we know he's 18 months,
Yep.
Labradoodle, standard poodle,
Yes.
Labrador. Okay. And let's just run down the issues and what you want to talk about today.
The first issue
He
is
seems so nice right now.
he is. The first issue is when people come into the house. He runs around the house crazy and runs around circles around them and tends to jump up on them when they come in.
Okay. And in that order, like the running, circling, and then jumping up on them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And what else?
And he also has he counter surfs.
Okay.
And also he doesn't always come when called.
Okay.
And then he also has a aggressive behavior outside where if you're playing ball with him and you want to go inside, he will start to bark and crouch down and race circles around you. And sometimes he also will nip at the backs of your ankles.
So if you turn to come
If you
in,
turn to
turn
come
away
in.
from him,
Yep.
he'll just start nipping at you. Okay. That sounds like a fun one. So in terms of counter surfing, what has he gotten successfully off the counters? Because that's always a fun.
Oh, he likes to eat napkins.
Okay.
He's also taken, cooked food that we have on the counter.
Right.
Like a spare rib or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chicken, or like if we have like a plate or something in the sink, he's jumped into the sink and pulled the plate out and brought it into the living room.
Okay. So he's fairly food motivated.
Yep.
That's a good thing. Okay. What have you tried anything for any of these naughty behaviors?
Well, we try to catch him in the act, and if we do, we've put him down on the ground and made him stay.
So if he's jumping or
Yeah.
on the counters?
Yep.
Okay.
We put him down on the ground. As for the aggressive behavior outside, it's pretty hard to catch him. He's really fast.
Right.
But if we can catch him, we will bring him in and put him in his cage for
Okay.
a little bit of a timeout.
Okay. How about that? Huh? Okay. And for jumping on people, have you tried anything? Don't eat that.
Yeah. Well, we try to get him, tell him off, and we try to get him to sit and to stay.
Okay.
And until he calms down, and then we try to have the people, not acknowledge him until he's in a sit-stay position.
Right. Okay. That seems like a good idea. Any classes? Does he have any behaviors? Like, can you ask him to sit, lay down?
Yeah, he did puppy training, so he can sit, he can lay down, he'll roll over.
Okay. Can you show those to me so I can see how he does them?
Kipper. Sit. Down. Roll
Nice.
over. He's a little lazy. Roll over.
That's all right.
But if you have food and he's really active, he'll sit, go down, and he'll roll over really fast.
Okay. Okay, good. And during the course of like the day, like, are you able to ask him to sit outside? Are you able to ask him to sit, in real world, in the course of your everyday life? Or do you use them mostly for just to show people what he does? You know what I mean?
No, when we take him outside and we take him out in public places, yeah, we do use the sit command and the stay.
Okay, good.
But he's always on a leash then too.
Right. Okay. And not the racing around thing.
Right.
Okay. So let me just talk a little bit about dogs and how they learn so that the things that we're doing will make sense, I think, to you a little bit better. So dogs, I kind of joke with people that I hate to sort of like burst everybody's bubble, but they are a completely different species than us. And a lot of times people we anthropomorphize so much. You know, we put our human emotions on our dogs. They're resentful. He's manipulating. He knows what I want him to do, and I would argue that the dog doesn't, because he's either not thoroughly trained enough to really understand that sit means to sit here, there, outside, at the park, at the vet's office, you know, all of those places. And they're really, he's pretty classic. I mean, he's an animal. He is looking out for his best interest. Mm-hmm. As much as we think, and they do love us, and he got up on the couch and he cuddled with you, and then he, came over to me, and there's absolutely that component, but ultimately, they're looking for their next opportunity in the kitchen, what's in the sink, and his nose, he can smell a grain of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Wow.
So he knows where the food is. That he does know. Mm-hmm. He knows that there are some pretty good smelling things in this bag, because this is where I have all my treats to work with him with. And so the counter surfing, he's looking out for his best interest. When the rigmarole that he does outside, which we saw a little bit about inside, is the game is ending, and he's aware of that, and if he can keep everybody outside, or he's having fun mm-hmm. doing what he was doing, grabbing my arms and my coat and dodging back and forth, almost playing with me as if I were a dog. But of course it's not enjoyable to us, because we're not dogs, and we don't want to play that way. So let's just know that he's looking out for his best interest. And when we start to train him, which is what we're going to be doing today, we'll do it outside and here, it has to be worth his while to play our game, because that's really what it is to him. Mm-hmm. It's a game. Training can or can't be serious to us, but we have to make it worth his while. And we're going to make it worth his while by providing him with high-value treat items. And when he does something exceptionally well, he'll get a lot of that. So now he's going to roll. Sorry, he's playing the story. We get a lot of that. He'll get a lot of that to really emphasize, yes, this is what I want. Here's 3 pieces of chicken. Or, well, that was mediocre, so I'll give you 1 small piece of chicken. Okay? And when we're using it's positive reinforcement, and the easiest and fastest way to train an animal is through positive motivation, which for dogs is generally food. Sometimes it's toys. It can be the ball outside, but we need to communicate with him in that way. So a lot of times when I'm training a dog by myself, I don't say a lot, because they're not a verbal species. They don't understand English. We're trying to teach them sit, down, roll over, come when called, and things like that, so that he'll have maybe 5 to 10 English words. Okay, so let's just talk about the counter surfing. So it looks like you've probably become very good at managing the kitchen and keeping things off the counter. Right. But he's a big dog, mm-hmm. so he can get a lot of those things. And he has a crate. Is that on this floor of the house? Okay. Yeah. So the best way to deal with counter surfing initially is a lot of management. So keeping the counters clean. I would ask him to do something else in the kitchen, or you have this nice floor delineation between the kitchen and your living dining area, mm-hmm. and I would I'll show you how to body block him out of the kitchen, and then ask him to lay down out of the kitchen. And your job is going to be to reinforce him for laying down and staying out of the kitchen. When we yell at a dog for counter surfing, if it's aversive enough, they'll go, oh, okay, so when Jennifer's here, or Denise is here, or whoever else is here, it's not safe to counter surf in the kitchen, mm-hmm. so they won't do it, potentially. But when you're not here, all the bets are off. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the trick is trying to make him associate his behavior with the counter, we need to try to make an association for him that when he jumps on the counter, something awful will happen to him. And right now, when he jumps on the counter, he wins the Powerball lottery. So that behavior is very difficult to get rid of, and management is going to be your best bet with that. So we'll address that. The jumping on people, he's a big dog, so I'm guessing that most people don't say, oh, it's okay, I'm wearing my jeans, or do they say that?
Well, we've told, most people that come here have been coming here all along and know
Right.
the behavior of him, and so they don't generally say it's okay if he jumps on me.
Okay.
So we basically kind of just let him calm down until they acknowledge.
Okay, so you don't have any, a lot of times the other issue with jumping dogs is trying to control your family and friends, which you can't control because sometimes people are like, oh, it's okay, and other times, oh, I don't like it, and the dog is getting all these mixed messages, and you know, dogs like to jump a lot of times. Okay, so for the jumping, I can try to go out and come in again and practice that, but I would have you, again, it's going to be management initially. And there always has to be a component of management that stops the behavior that we don't want while we train the behavior that we do want, okay? Because you can't have both happening at the same time. You can't smoke cigarettes while you're trying to quit them, right? I mean, it's a little bit different because there's an addiction and all that sort of stuff, but you can't have both happening at the same time and be successful, okay? So he can't be allowed to race around the house when people come while you're trying to say, teach him to sit and greet people properly. So we have to stop the racing around while we teach him to sit. And the other thing to keep in mind, you know, he's 18 months, so he's had, we'll just use 18 months, although I realize, you know, you probably didn't get him until he was 8 or 10 weeks. So racing around and jumping on people has a value somewhere up here for him. Like it gets him something, which is why he continues to do it. It's fun, it's enjoyable, he gets some attention, whatever it is. And doing what we're going to ask him to do, which just say it's going to be sit, is like so far down here because there's no value to it yet. So we have to increase the value of sitting while people come, make that worth his while, so that this jumping, racing around, barking, whatever it is, we switch the balance, okay? So that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take, I don't think it's going to take 18 months to change it. It will really depend on how consistent all of the family is. And you have kids and other people that are here, so they'll have to be on board with what you're doing. Because if you had 100% consistency with every member of the family, and everybody asks them to sit and going to feed them high value reinforcements for sitting, so that's much more worth his while than jumping on people, you could probably change that in a month or two. You know, I don't, you know, that would be my guess. But you have to have that 100% consistency to happen. Okay, so let's go into the kitchen because I want to start with just some basic body blocking and asking him to lie down out of the kitchen, and then we'll do some other things. So let's head over here and I'll get my treats out. Come on, you're gonna come with us. Okay. So what I like to do is if I'm in the kitchen, I have a word that's either go or out. And I say, get out, and I walk right into him and push him back. Good boy. Until he looks up. He could also sit if he wanted to. Now, if we want to, look at him, he's like shocked. What did you just do? So you would have to have the mindset that you're going to do whatever you're doing cooking. Come on, Kipper. He starts to come in and you go out. Get out. Good boy. Good boy. Down. So you can start to work on the down. So I'm going to give him that whole piece, but in 3 little pieces.
Okay.
So I'm not going to ask him to stay. I'm not going to get that complicated. We could certainly work on a down stay separately from the kitchen issue. But right now it's just about management and making him like this is not his space anymore. Does he go in and out your slider or in and out the back door?
He goes in and out
all the doors. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's all right. So it doesn't matter. He can, when he's given permission, he can certainly come through. All right. So we'll just see what he does if I move around and pick up things. Oh, Mr. Smarty Pants. So Labradoodles, you know, being part poodle, they're very cerebral, right? They are one of the most intelligent breeds. I'm not sure if it's because they're easier to motivate or they really just pick up things very quick, but they do. And now he's not going to be naughty anymore.
Yeah, no, he's very smart. He's very food motivated.
Yeah. So, and we're not. So we've opened all the doors. So instead of giving him one big piece, I want you to break it up. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now it's not to say, do you have children?
Yes, a daughter. She's 12.
Okay. So, when the 12-year-old is home and the husband's home or whoever else and you're, all moving around, he'll probably be right in here with you. So what I would have you do, and I'm going to have you practice this, is the number one thing you need to do is be prepared. So I usually tell all my clients, take 1 day, 2 days, whatever you need to do, go to the store and get dog treats, good ones, like liver, smelly, stinky things. I very rarely use dog treats. I have boiled chicken. This is a Natural Balance liver treat, or just a lamb treat that I use, and he likes that one too. It's soft and it's dog food. I also use cheese, and I make liver dog biscuits, little treats, because I want to communicate clearly with him, right, that this is going to give you big payments, and everything else is going to get you nothing. And enough of that will really, like, he'll just park himself out here. Because if this is where the food happens for him, there's science called behavioral economics, and what that says is that the dog or the animal, whatever it is, whatever animal we're talking about, will spend an equal proportion of time doing the thing where the most food happens. So if 20% of his food comes here, scientifically speaking, he should spend 20% of his time here, right? And right now, I don't know what the percentage is for counter surfing, but there's some percentage of time that he spends counter surfing when he smells it or when the opportunity is made available to him, because that's where he's getting the biggest protein meal, right? Spare ribs is what you said, taking dishes out of the sink.
Yep. He's eaten a whole bag of rolls one time when we were gone.
Oh, yeah. The bag too, or just the rolls?
Oh, he tore apart the bag, but mainly just all the
Right,
rolls.
right. Yeah. That's huge. We wouldn't dream, being humans that we are, of emptying this entire bait bag to him right there, right? But if we did, right? Because I think we're very stingy people. I work with people and I'll give them, we'll do this outside, I'll give you like an entire blob of liverwurst. I'll say, when he comes, I want you to give him the whole thing. And people look at me and say, the whole thing? I'll say, well, yeah, make it worth his while. Well, I'll just give him a little piece. But, we don't work for a quarter. Nobody here works for 25 cents an hour. It's not worth our while. Why would we? Unless you're just independently wealthy and, you can do that. So we need to make it worth his while. Good boy. So I'm going to test him a little bit. Well, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to have him get up if we can get him up. And I want you to body block him.
Okay.
Okay. So do you have any sort of release word for him that says he can get up? Like, do you have any sort of...
It used to be okay.
And...
He kind of lost interest.
All right. Let's go, Kipper. Come on. Good boy. That's a good boy. Okay. So I'm going to sit here. So as soon as he starts to come in the kitchen, and you may just have to encourage him, I want you to body block him out, which is your toes directly to his toes.
All right. Let's see.
You have a bag you can crinkle that might get him to come in.
He knows you.
He's not going over the line at the moment. I'll come in the kitchen. Okay, body block him. Quick. Tell him out.
Out.
Yep. Now ask him to lie down.
Sit. Down.
Good. And break that up. So the body blocking actually communicates to him in his own language, because dogs block each other all the time. They'll cut in front, they'll stand so that another dog can't approach something or themselves. So it's when it's done right, it can be very powerful, and you're applying pressure to him. So it's also important that once you've blocked him out of the kitchen, that you then stop and you take that step away because that's almost like the thank you. Like if I stand too close to you, right, it's just awkward. Like you want to take a step back, right? Because there's pressure now
Right.
here. So just keep that in mind, because that's what you're doing to him, and on purpose. That's how we're going to communicate with him. But then be sure you take that step away and say thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Good boy. All right, so I'm going to drop a treat in the kitchen, and so he can see it, and I want you just to get ready to body block him. Then get up.
Nope.
So give him a piece for that. Maybe we should get some rolls out, Kipper. Body block him. Quick, 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 quick.
Out.
Yes, and just down. No
Down.
first.
Down.
Good. Good. So I'm going to drop the same thing again. Is he still down?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so now you can reinforce him with the chicken. All right, so reinforce them with. Good. So anybody in the family could reinforce them, right? So if you're cooking or doing whatever, and he stays there just like that, who's ever here, and if, like I would have the bait bag set up, or I'd have a bowl with treats for him, and who's ever around can walk over and give him a piece.
Okay.
Then he'll know, oh, everybody knows this game. I'm just gonna keep myself here because this is where it's happening for him. Okay, good. All right, so counter surfing, I would have him downstay. You can actually, you could put him anywhere, but for me it's easiest, like he doesn't need to be far from the kitchen, he just needs to be out of the kitchen, particularly when you're cooking. When you're not here, you still have to do all that management stuff. Okay, so the people coming over. All right, now we're gonna have to get him up. Okay, Kipper. Good boy. So what I would do when people come over, do you usually, come on out here so we can just talk. Do you usually know they're coming?
No, not always.
Okay, but they knock, or some people just walk in?
They usually will probably knock and then walk in. Some people just walk right in.
Okay. Whenever possible, even if you put a sign on the door that says knock, so I can put Kipper on his leash. But that's what I'd like you to do, is put him on his leash.
Okay.
And I'll have you do this. I'll knock and then come back in. Then it's your choice. He could stand, sit, or lay down. So people coming in the house over time will actually be the signal for him to sit, stand, or lay down. But you have to decide which one you want.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So people knock. Hopefully they'll wait a minute. You're going to grab the leash. You're going to put them on the leash. You're going to be prepared with high value reinforcement treats. All right. So body block them out just for practice. Block, block, block. Say out.
Out.
Yep. Good.
Down.
Yep. And no food after this one. Good. So after he's there for a period of time, then you can start the treat reinforcement. But when you've sort of disciplined him to get out and then to lay down, we won't treat immediately. Otherwise, we risk he'll get up and go into the kitchen, and then, and kind of train those behaviors together so that then you tell him to lie down and he'll get a treat for that. So we
Right.
just want some time to happen from that. All right. Okay, good boy. We're going to do something else. Come on, Kipper. All right. So I will knock. I'm just going to go out this door and knock.
Okay.
And then do you want him to go with you to greet people? And you're going to ask him to sit there, and then the person will just come in?
I think it's easier if we keep him in here.
Okay.
In the kitchen and greet people, as they come in and have him staying in here. I don't
Okay.
know if that would be confusing to him since we're going to try to keep him out of the kitchen.
No, I think because there will be times when he can be in the kitchen.
Okay.
All right, so just for some practice, and and this isn't real life, but we have to start with him at a low level of arousal. What happens when people come and they knock is that all this adrenaline starts in the dog, and it happens with, every dog in the country gets excited when people come to the door. All right, so I'll knock. You're going to ask him to sit or lay down. It does not matter to me. I just want you to be consistent in what you want him to do. And then you will treat him, so you can break up those pieces I gave you. As I enter and as I start talking to you, if you need to, continue to treat him for that. Because when you do this, when sort of real people are coming in, that arousal will be, ah! So you're going to need to keep the reinforcements coming. Okay. So this is as much practice for you getting the mechanics and the behaviors down as it is for him. We're already tiring him out.
Down. Come in.
Oh, hi. What a good behaved dog. Keep feeding him. Good boy. Oh, a good boy. Right, so I'm not nearly as interesting now as I was when I first arrived, but that's exactly what I'd like you to do, okay? And the leash is so that you can stop the racing around and the jumping behavior, right? Because they can't be happening at the same time. And he is very food motivated. People always ask, how long am I going to have food around? Well, for a while, because he's going to be in training for a while, okay?
Should I keep feeding him?
Yeah, I would. And then until you tell him okay, then once you say okay and let him get up, then you don't need to worry about the food anymore. Good boy.
Okay.
Good. All right, so let's talk about going outside. And what kinds of, is it tennis balls that he likes? Any kind of ball?
I can grab the ball and.
Okay, good. Yep, let's do that.
Yep.
Oh, all right. And he loves to chase it with
Loves
the
to chase
and then
it.
does he bring it back, give it to you?
He will, yeah, but sometimes.
Eventually? Or he will?
He will, but then he'll try to grab it from you and he'll like play with it.
Okay.
But usually he'll kick it to you and then he'll let you pick it up and throw it.
Okay. And do you have another tennis ball? Do you have more than one?
Oh yeah, we have lots.
Okay. So let's get 4 tennis balls.
Okay.
And is this something that he takes outside? Is this like a long line?
Yeah, we leave that on him when he runs around outside.
Outside all the
Yeah.
time? And you still can't get him? Oh, maybe that trumps food. So this is a nice length. So he wears this all the time when he goes outside?
We try to be consistent, yeah.
Okay. And when this is on him, then you must be able to get him and bring him.
Sometimes, yep. Sometimes he'll just run around too fast and you can't step on it or grab it.
Okay. So I have a longer one, but let's use what you have.
All right, I'll get a couple more tennis balls.
All right, so let's go out this front door.
Okay.
I know. So a Labradoodle is a Labrador Retriever hunting breed, lots of prey drive, and poodles are actually hunters. And a lot of people forget that because, we give them these poofy haircuts and they look very frilly, but they'll kill stuff, okay? So the ball's a great way to get the energy out. Now, do you ever require Kipper to sit or do anything for you for the ball?
I usually try to get him to sit.
Okay. And usually try means he doesn't always.
He's pretty good. He is pretty good about it until he gets going and really excited. Then he doesn't sit as well as he is right now.
Come here, Kipper. Sit. Good boy. Okay, so I'm not going to throw it very far. I'm just going to throw it with my arm. Good boy. We'll see if we can make a trade. Good boy. is what you mean,
Yeah,
until you get
yeah.
going. So I'm going to turn and walk. You can stay there to see if he'll follow me a little bit. Sit. Down. Okay. All right, so the long line's great, but one of the issues is when it drags behind, you know, and we need them. That's why I went to get it first. I just didn't have a very good handle on it. Good boy. Good boy. So I'm going to make a trade with him. I'm not sure that that trumps ball, but we'll see. Down. 1. 1. So I'm counting because I would like him to stay down for 2 seconds. Down. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's nice. Good boy. Kipper. So I want him to come into me, which is why I'm going to make him come to my leg. Good boy. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to release him before I throw the ball. Okay? Good. So ball playing, I'm going to just work with him a little bit more, and then I'm sort of going to review the rules that I'm trying to get him to understand. So when he's doing this, I want control. Come on. So make it worth his while, right? Down. I know we're changing the rules. Down. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So what's nice about having him sit and lay down, good boy. So every time he brings it here, I'm going to trade, which is what I'm doing with the food. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It's called a switching game. So he goes from a state of high arousal, ball chasing, to down, which in essence is a way to sort of help turn him off. And again, I want him to come into me because he has that habit of running away from you guys and playing catch me if you can. So that's why I'm always going to ask to feed him against my leg. 1, 2, and I'm going to start to move my arms down. So that's frustration. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right, I'm not playing by the rules that are normally happening for him. Come on. Oh, so I'm gonna walk away again, just to help bring him in. Come on. Good boy. Give him some chicken for his problem, for his down. Good boy. Up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. He's not going to play now. I'm going to run around a little bit. He's going to go to the bathroom. Is this what he does?
This
He
is what
parks
he does,
himself
yeah.
someplace else
Yep.
and digs?
And
All right.
digs. Yep.
Kipper! So that's why you have another ball. Kipper! Good boy. So chicken for your problem. Keep the dry one in my pocket. Down. So you're thinking, I like that. Slobbery too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So he didn't bark. Did you hear his mouth do a little, like he was thinking about it? Mm-hmm. Good boy. Get out the chicken, Denise. Here. To my leg. Good boy. So I'm probably not being generous enough. considering all the competition we have. Come here. Good boy. Okay, down. Good boy. Very nice one. And the point of moving my arms is just to help him not flinch. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be longer and longer, but 3 to 4 seconds is nice. Like let him chill out for 4 seconds, and then you can start the arousal piece all over again. Kipper. Good boy. Down. So I'm not going to do anything because that's not what I want. Down. And you get all tangled up in that long line. Now I'll start counting. 1, 2, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Kipper. Good boy. You have to have more than one of the valuable items. Good boy. All right, put the wet one away. Dry one, I mean. Ready? Down. No. So, I'm not going to do anything about that. That's not what I want. Down. Nope. So what I don't want is he's coming closer and grabbing my hand. So I don't want to build that in as part of what I'm looking for from him. Down. So I'll take the bark because I didn't get the hand stuff. Good boy. Okay. You have to be careful with all those things because the bark, the rolling over, the hand grab. Good boy. Yakking. Oops, here. All becomes part of his, oh, this is what I have to do to get the ball. I have to bite her hand, lay down, and roll over. And no, down. So we don't have the hand bite, which we'll take. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Good boy. Good. So do you have some treats in your pocket that I gave you? All right, so let's have you start working with him. So go ahead and you can bring him into you closer. Yep, right into you, yes. And now as for the down.
Down.
So it's up to you. But I would not reinforce any of the hand grab because he's already doing too much of that. The bark and the rollover, that's up to you.
Okay.
And we don't have to be purists. We can if you want, but we don't have to be. Good.
Okay.
Perfect. Oh, so pull out your other ball. I'm just gonna start digging.
Kipper.
Come on.
Come on.
Is that one of his normal dig in the ground places?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
If we play out here.
Oh, so treat him, treat him, treat him, treat him. Couple pieces. Yep, give him another one. Good. Eating scraps. Go
Okay.
ahead. Very nice. Good. So you're always going to come out with multiple tennis balls. Good boy. And feed him right on your leg. Yep. Go ahead. Yes, good. Yep. Yes. For the down.
Down.
Nice. Throw it right away from him. No bark, no roll, no hand grab. I just want to give you some more treats for your pocket. Good boy. That was very good. Yep, nice.
Down.
Food ball, not sure what I want.
Down.
Very nice, good, throw that one again too, yep. So the reinforcement can come a little faster, right? Because there was no bark, there was no rollover, and there's no hand grab. It was nice and clean. Very nice. Yes, good boy, treat him for that. Right to your leg. Bring him in. Yep, bring him in. Yes, good.
Down. Down.
Sorry, just make him wait a little bit longer. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay. So that's how I'd like you to start to play with him. So there's a little more, yes, good. Right? So you will have to come out with food because now he's throwing it and almost and
Down.
looking for the food. He's a circus dog.
Okay.
Good. Because he's throwing it now and looking to your hand for the food, which is fun. And the reason I want you to feed him like on your leg is because he does this. Go ahead, take your other. Yes, good boy. Go ahead, feed him when he gets here. Good boy. So, second tennis ball and good treats trump the shenanigans he used to do over there in the woods. Ask him to lay down.
Down.
Nice, good. Throw it. That was beautiful. Good. So you're going to always come out with some high value treats in your pocket and more than one tennis ball. Good.
Down. Okay.
Good. Yes, good boy. Get a treat ready. Good boy. Where's he made that? Yes, nice. Go ahead, treat him. Very good.
Oh. Give me the ball.
Good. Ask him to down.
Down.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So outside, you don't even need the hand signal for down. You're just saying it verbally, which is great. Good. Treat him for that.
Down.
Beautiful. Throw it. Good. All right, so you're gonna need treats, a couple of extra tennis balls. Very good boy. Oh, and divert. Go ahead, get the other one out.
Kipper.
Yes. Oh,
He needs
all right.
a rest.
So does he do this when he's tired?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's all right. So as long as he's just gonna lay down over there, that's fine. Okay. Now, is this a time when you would normally go in and we'd get all this sort of biting stuff happening? Maybe.
Yeah, he would do that. If
Or-
we tried to go in, he'd probably not want to go in because he's having too much fun. And
Okay. And then we just wouldn't be able to get him in?
right.
Okay. So when does that sort of the biting, growling, circling you thing start happening? Like, do you pick up his ball and remove it from him and then try to go in?
Yes.
Okay. So this time when he comes over, I want you to give him some liverwurst. Let's just call him. Kipper! Good, give him that. And we'll take the ball. Yes, give him that. So I just want to set it up like you normally do if I weren't here. So you're done playing, you take the ball and go in?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so if I weren't here, you would, I intuitively pick up the leash, but I'm going to put it down. So if I weren't here, you would remove the ball from him
Yep.
and say what you normally say, and then just turn and go, and I'll follow you.
Okay. Time to go in, Kipper. Come.
That's what he does?
Yeah, he'll jump.
He'll start jumping at the ball? Okay. So I want to see what he normally does, and then we'll fix it instead of trying to fix it right away. And you take the ball with you to try to get him to come in?
Either if we don't, then he'll
He'll
just
just never come in.
never come back
Okay.
in.
So this is better than he normally does, I'm
Yeah.
guessing?
Yeah.
Well, let's see if we can actually get him in. Whatever you normally say to him.
Come.
Look,
He's
it's
gonna
fixed.
follow the ball.
All right, let's go back out and try again. So give him a treat for that. All right, so let's just do that one more time. Let's have you throw it for him. So ask him to lay down, we'll throw it, and then I want you to just go through the end of game routine like I'm not here, and I'll try not to say anything, I'll just follow you.
Okay. Down. Okay.
Oh, is this the puddle thing? Try to call him back.
Kipper.
Good.
See, he knows that we're gonna go back inside.
So this is pretty normal what we're seeing?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if you can get him to come up. So if you were to go get him, does he start the running away thing?
He might, yeah.
Okay, that's all right. Let's see if we can call him over here.
Kipper.
Oh, he came without the ball.
Came without the ball. He saw the tree.
That's all right. Make him come into you. Yep. Just kind of bring. Yes, good boy. Now, if you go in without that ball, though, you said he will never come in.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's see if he'll bring us back the ball. Come on. Good boy. So tree him again. Nice. And then say what you normally say.
Okay, going in. Come on. No.
Grabby. So go ahead and call him, and if he comes all the way up, treat him for that.
Good boy.
Good. All right. Okay, so I saw what you normally do, and I'm going to show you what I'd like you to do.
Okay.
So go ahead. You ask him to lie down and throw it.
Down.
Whenever you're ready, you can throw it.
Okay.
That's funny. Good boy. Come on, Kipper. Good boy. All right, so give him the liverwurst too when he comes back. Good. So I want you to take the leash and put the ball in your pocket. And you still have some treats in your other pocket too? Do I need to take, you want me to take one of the balls?
I
want you, okay, so ask him to sit.
Sit.
And you're going to treat him. So I want you to manage all the paraphernalia. And as you walk up, you're going to ask him to sit periodically.
Okay.
Okay, so that the ball's out of your hand. So I want to try to eliminate that jumping at you and trying to get it out of your hand, which is impulse control. And he's, it's not that's not aggressive because he just wants it so bad. But let's give him something else to do. Okay, good boy. All right, so let's turn and walk up, and you're just going to ask him to sit, I don't know, 3 times, whatever's necessary.
Sit.
Good.
Sit.
Nice. And then let's go all the way up to the door. We'll do one last one at the door.
Okay.
And when you get inside, we'll leave him inside this time. I want you to give him that whole piece of liverwurst for coming in the house. When he gets all the way in. Yep. So just for being in, just feed it to him. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, that's a good boy. All right, so any questions?
When we can't catch him and he's misbehaving, like nipping and jumping around, which obviously he didn't do today, what's the best thing that we can do?
Well, I love the long line, so I would preempt it all the time. So he will always have this on, like always. This is just like he always wears the collar and you always come out with the ball when you're gonna play ball. Part of ball playing is gonna be the long line, okay? Part of bringing him in this way is so he starts to learn to come in, and that's where the good stuff happens. Like here is where he's gonna get the $5,000, not out here, because he already plays the keep away game where dogs will just sort of dance out just out of arm's length, right? He already does that. I think that if you play the game this way, you won't have the nipping and jumping and stuff. I really do, because we didn't see it today. And that's sort of unfortunate in some ways, but yet when I come and I start to change the rules, like he gets that already. And he's already understanding, whoa, wait, there's a lot more in this now for me than there was. And it's not to say that he won't start that, but if you've got some high value food and we can ask him to do something else. That's what I like to focus on. Instead of, if we focus on how do I stop that, it can put us into a punishment mode. But if we say, what do I want instead? then you're in a proactive, oh, I want him to sit when we go up. Okay, that's great. Maybe you need a longer line. I can show you one before I go that is just 30 feet. It's a little cumbersome because it can get tangled around your feet and stuff, but it's thicker. So you could get a 20-foot long line, like a real dog long line,
Right.
and then it might be easier to step on and grab. But a lot of it is just going to be, again, trying to prevent that, yeah, I know you like that, that obnoxious racing around biting you stuff, because now you have a leash so you can get them, right? And let's say that if he's kind of starting to focus on me this way, then I'm going to direct my attention to the end of the leash and come out here, which helps to take it off of him, even if you have to walk backwards, I know, because sometimes he comes up behind you. And I did that once early on when the leash he came up this way, but was too far away from me, and the leash was back there. So I looked back there and I walked back there and I picked up the leash, and he didn't really, and I wasn't paying attention to him, so there wasn't a lot of reaction from him. And if you have high value stuff with him, I'm sure that he'll start to work for you. Up until this point, the nipping, circling, barking stuff has worked for him.
Right.
So now we want to have a different way to work from. Okay, so does that answer that question?
Yes. Yep.
All right, and what else? Any other questions about anything? He's lovely. I mean, it's obnoxious. I wouldn't call it necessarily aggressive. It's obnoxious behavior. And it comes from this place of like high arousal and wanting what he wants. And we can say, okay, dude, you can have that, or you can, it has to be worth his while to come in. Like now that I see how valuable ball playing is, like for you just to say, okay, we're going in and expect him to follow you in, he's having a little temper tantrum. Any other questions, Jennifer, before we finish up?
No, I think that's all.
Good. All right, so you've got to get prepared with some high value treats, lots of them. Just get them. You're going to work on the body blocking in the kitchen and reinforcing laying down out of the kitchen. When people come, you're going to leash them. Your choice of the sit or the down. The whole time people come in, like, well, the practice, he wasn't as aroused as normally. So treat, 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 treat until that initial arousal has dissipated. I wouldn't necessarily take him off the leash. I would just let him go. Just say, okay, calmly. If he starts going crazy, pick up the leash and just ask him to lie down. You can do that switching game as well. And for the game playing outside, we just finished up with that sit. As long as you're not going to bark. Good boy. You keep in touch and let me know, but by continuing to tell him what we want him to do, lie down, stay there 4 seconds, throw the ball, come in close, and then when you leave, I don't care whether you pick up the ball anymore, but what I want you to do is pick up the leash. And I want you to have a good hand hold of it so that he can't go charging off anywhere that he wants to go. And then it's just time to go in, ask him for a couple of sits. I don't think you're going to have to do that. Maybe a couple weeks. You'll have to see. Ask him. No,
Down?
Don't feed him for barking, though. Come here. Okay, now you can ask him for a rollover and then feed him for that.
Roll over. Down. Roll over.
Good, now you can have some. Good. I just don't want you to reinforce the barking. So you're going to ask him to do other things on your way in the house. You're going to have control of the leash, and you're going to pay him big time for coming into the house. Because remember, from his perspective, leaving all of this fun, and it's not just the ball and throwing, it's you or whoever else, it's the woods, it's the smells, and then just going in, it is a punishment for him. So we got to make that a reinforcement. We have to make that game, the game of stop playing ball and come in the house, worth his while. Okay? This is the worst behavior we've seen out of you all day. Okay. Today on Doggy Dilemmas, we met Kipper, the 18-month-old Labradoodle. Sit. Kipper, good boy. Who is very food motivated, very toy motivated, a really lovely dog, highly, highly trainable. He's just learned some naughty habits that Jennifer and her family are going to work on. Hey, come here. Sit. That Jennifer and her family will work on. I don't think I can do two things at once. And always, what I want them to focus on is always showing Kipper what we want him to do. As we can see just standing here, if we're not telling him what we want him to do, he's starting to make up things that we don't want him to do. Okay, I'm Denise Mazzola. I'll see you next week on another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. Down. Good boy.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.